What an appropriate segue to the second of our two inductees into the Thesz Tragos Hall of Fame tonight. Because with this induction, Dan the Beast Severn becomes the first person in the history of the Hall of Fame to be honored on 3 separate occasions. Give it up. He was awarded the Frank Gotch Award in 2002, the George Tragos Award in 2012, and tonight Dan Severn receives the Hall's highest honor. A legend in the worlds of wrestling and mixed martial arts, Dan Severn has seemingly done it all. Listen to this. High school national champion in both Greco-Roman and freestyle wrestling. 3-time All-American at Arizona State. Arizona State University Wrestling Hall of Fame. Olympic alternate in 1980, 84, and 88. Countless national and international amateur championships. And then as a pro, 2-time NWA World's Heavyweight Champion, a member of the NWA Hall of Fame, and a former WWE superstar. He's considered a pioneer as the first high-profile amateur wrestler to enter the octagon for the UFC, winning the Triple Crown, if you will, by winning the UFC 5 tournament, the Ultimate, and the UFC Super Fight Championship. And when you know it, he's also enshrined in their Hall of Fame. You'd be hard-pressed to find a man more decorated or more respected, and it's damn near impossible to find a man more deserving of the honor he receives tonight. Join me in welcoming to the George Tragos Thesz Hall of Fame class of 2018, Dan the Beast Severn.
They say it's appropriate to usually start off a speech with some type of a joke or a funny anecdote. So let's give this a shot. We see this man goes into this bar carrying a monkey underneath his arm. Heads up to the bartender and says, "Hey bartender," well, maybe that joke's not quite appropriate for this crowd here this evening. For some of the folks, very appropriate for, but for most of the mixed crowd, not whatsoever. But I'm trying to change things up a little bit. The key word here right now is change, and how each of these individuals that have spoken so far had to make changes in their life. Other ingredients: change, adversity, how we deal with adversity, that dedication that we have to apply ourselves. Another word for dedication, Koji said up there, sacrifice, because all the time we have to sacrifice away from our family, our friends, and dedicate ourselves. What is normal? I don't even know what normal even means anymore. I mean, I've lived a very extraordinary, abnormal life most of my life. I always try to tell people that I started my journey in athletics back in 1969 in 7th grade. Just going through the physical educational program, and just trying different sports. In the fall, there was football, and there was soccer. In the wintertime, there's basketball, and there was wrestling, and in spring, track and field. Well, my father was a big basketball fan. I kind of thought, well, let me see if I can make him proud, and I'll become a basketball player, but I sucked at basketball. And sitting on the bench, I guess the only way I could say it, if I was trying to make him proud, I could say I was the most versatile athlete. I was in the guard and tackle. I sat on the end of the bench, I guarded the water, and I would tackle anyone that tried to take it. So, but how I ended up getting involved in the sport of wrestling is a few of my friends that were on the wrestling team, a big flu epidemic had hit. And a few of my friends asked me to come on out and fill in a weight class, otherwise they were going to have to forfeit it. I'm thinking to myself, I'm a big strapping young farm boy. Sure, I could show a thing or two out there. Well, I wrestled twice that night, and what do you think my results were? I lost. Not only did I lost, I got pinned twice. So, I actually let my friends down, I let myself down. I went back to finish up my illustrious basketball career, 7th grade, but at least I'm doing something. I went out for the wrestling team. By my 9th grade year, in between my 9th grade and during my summer of 9th and 10th grade, I went to my very first wrestling camp. And I came back to high school, and my wrestling coach, my wrestling coach was a very large man, a wonderful man, a very motivational type of a person. And he could not physically get out there and show you how to do techniques, because at about 5'5" and about 350 pounds, he was built like a butterball turkey. And I mean that as a term of endearment. Love the man, he's still alive to this day. But he could not physically go out there and show techniques. So if you had the best double, you taught the double. If you had the best high crotch farmer's carry, you taught that. He goes, Severn, you went to wrestling camp. What did you learn? I said, Coach, I learned this thing called cradles. Well, come on here and teach us cradles. Well, one hand goes here, the other hand goes there. You kind of push with your head like this. But what does every child ask you? A child will ask you the question, why? Why did my hand go here? Why did my head push there? And that chance happening of him asking me to go out there to teach is what changed my career, because I started asking myself why, and I never even looked upon a human being as a body anymore. It became just nothing but fulcrums and levers and where to go. And that's how I tell people that I've been able to ascertain some incredible achievements without training in the aspects. I mean, when you look at, I'll say a couple of my bragging points is I started a cage fighting career at 37. Now, who starts a cage fighting career at 37? You retire from it at 37, but that's when opportunity presents itself. It always says on all the tapes I was at like 35, something like that, but the UFC never had my age corrected. He said they would ask me, and I'd just give them a different number in the first place just to have fun there with them. But it was, and I was Vince McMahon's oldest rookie ever at 48 years of age. But I did not look my age, nor did I act my age. So it was maybe a good combination right there. But the combination of this change, how you deal with adversity. How I dealt with adversity. Freshman year in college, I had a very Cinderella season going for myself. I had a very Cinderella career in through my high school career, something like that. My freshman year in college, 34-0, 24 pins, set a national pin record. I pinned 5 out of 6 NCAA finishers that year. They had never seen a true freshman ever do something like this. And then in a tournament, I ended up having an injury, and I blew out my knee in the process. I still finished the match, but I blew out my knee in the process. And at 18 years of age, I have an orthopedic surgeon that's looking at me and saying to me, you will never wrestle again. I was devastated, to say the least, because I did not have plan B. I went to college, I always tell people, I went to college for all the wrong reasons. I didn't go for an education. I was a very successful high school wrestler, and I wanted to see how I was going to do on a Division I basis. So when you look at my first semester of classes, I took a weightlifting class to make sure that I could design programs for wrestling. I took a nutrition class, so I knew that everything I was putting in my body was going to make me the ultimate wrestler. I took a judo class, so I could learn to use my feet as an extension of arms, and it worked very well there for me. But now, I'm being devastated by these news. Now, obviously, fast forward, I defied those odds. I've gone through 2 different orthopedic surgeons. The last one having both of my knee x-rays up on his wall, autographed, and he says, you shouldn't be doing what you're doing. I go, but look me, Doc, I'm a-moving and I'm a-grooving, okay? He says, but one of these days, when your muscles atrophied enough, and I go, what you're telling me here, my curse is that I will have to work out for the rest of my life? I will take that curse. Because the inevitability, none of us are going to get out of life alive, but how long did you stay in the game and how much fun did you have along the way? I've lived a life of quite a few people, and I hope to live that again, but it's that adversity, how we deal with it, how we change, and the dedication and the sacrifice that comes along the way. I kind of like to kind of close here right now with a poem, but then also the ring name, The Beast. I did not come up with the ring name, The Beast. It was given to me by the legendary football player, Jim Brown. Hall of Fame NFL player, Jim Brown. He was one of the play-by-play commentators for half a dozen different UFC events. And in his words, he said, Dan Severn, when I first met you, I did not think much of you because you were the only guy who showed up at the it wasn't on a Friday night weigh-ins, it was basically a Friday night, basically just press conference because there were no weight classes when the UFC first began. He says, you're the only guy that showed up to the press conference wearing a sports jacket, a tie, and wearing your glasses. He says, I can tell you're a rather intelligent individual. He goes, and you're rather soft-spoken. I thought, these guys are going to eat you alive. He says, but then I see you walk out to that cage and I see a transformation, much like watching Clark Kent turn into Superman. He goes, how do you turn it on like that? And I'm thinking, Jim Brown is asking me a question like that? The most punishing running back in the history of the game, in my opinion. He retired at an age where it took several other people still over a decade to beat his record. So I always tell people that I did not make up my ring name. It was given to me by a legendary NFL football player. Now, anyone that really knows me knows I'm probably one of the biggest pussycats in the world. Easiest going guy there is. I take my competition seriously. Dan the Pussycat Severn doesn't sell tickets. But, I came up with an acronym of what I can live with as the Beast. The word THE, thus, stands for Dan Severn. I'm a teacher, humanitarian, and I'm an educator. My message to young people is Beast. To believe in yourself, to educate yourself, to adjust your everyday attitude, to study hard, and then to teach others, because you can't take it with you. So on that note, I shall now go into a poem. It's a poem I wrote probably around that 92 time period as I was going back and forth to Japan and working for the UWFI organization. And trust me, writing a poem was the last thing on my mind, but as I'm flying back from Tokyo, I can't sleep. I've got all these little rhythmic type of lines that are going through my mind. I pull out the barf bag, pull out an ink pen, and literally within 10 minutes, I wrote this. And trust me, I have never wrote anything any so good. I don't have it up here somewhere. Basically, recite it from memory. But I think it goes, this same theme is with a lot of the individuals that have been up here accepting their various awards. The title of the poem is called The Match Promise. And it goes like this. Before I walk onto that mat, I pause a moment to reflect on back. From where I came, it wasn't much, but where I'm headed, I cannot be touched. These words I speak, they are the same. Speak them I must, they're part of my game. I must promise to do my very best, to put my opponent to the ultimate test, to rise above all that he may do. I will see the match all the way through. Win or lose is not the score. Knowing I did my best, this means more. I will shoot and defend with all my might to let my opponent know he's in for a fight. I may tire and weaken, my body may begin to cramp, but I will not stop. I want to be champ. When the whistle blows, the match is done, the ref raises my arm because I have won. I am not average, not like the rest. I will rise above and become the best. It is my goal to reach the top, and no matter what, I will not stop. There you go. Thank you.